If you want to be a champion, you got to run well on the road courses. So this weekend, Sonoma will put the best to the test. Welcome to Fast Friday, everyone. NASCAR Live starts right now. Welcome once again, everyone, to NASCAR Live, presented by Geico on Speed's Fast Friday. Just up the road from the world-famous Golden Gate Bridge and the trolleys on the streets of San Francisco, we find ourselves racing with the backdrop of Sonoma Valley's wine country. And here is the big question. At the end of Sunday's race, will you be sipping wine or will you be whining about what went on? The first road course race of the season is upon us. Welcome, everybody, once again to Sonoma Raceway here out in Sonoma Valley. Alongside of Larry McReynolds, I'm John Roberts. We got some great fans with us here, Larry Mack. But you know, we used to come to the road course years ago, and there were only a couple guys who you'd really look at to win, but that's changed.
Well, it has. Out of our 36 races, we only do 2 road course races a year, and we only come to Sonoma once a year. We've been coming here since 1989, and the first few years we came here, JR, you pretty much could count on one hand and have fingers left over what team, what driver was going to victory lane. But I think over the years, teams and drivers, they have ramped up their efforts on road course racing. You know you can't give these 2 races up. And now, no different than Michigan last week, Kentucky next week, I think we have a dozen and a half drivers that could truly go to victory lane. And I think that's one reason, if you look at the last 7 races here, we have had 7 different winners. And a lot of those winners were not even drivers that we were even talking about the early part of the week.
And with the wild card system right now, every race counts, because if you can get a win, it could put you in championship contention. Right now, let's go down to the garage area, check in with Bob Dillon, the Geico Pit Report. Bob?
Well, JR, one race does not a season make, but it was a great jump start for the 88 and Dale Earnhardt Jr. last week with a big victory. He broke a 142 race winless streak, and now everybody's saying these guys serious championship contenders. We'll talk about the 88 boys in just a bit on NASCAR Live. Wendy Venturini.
And Bob, a guy that possibly is starting a winless streak could be Kyle Busch. Now, when we come here, we know that he's typically good here. He only has 1 win so far this season, and with the last 3 weeks having engine troubles, he's dropped from 8th to 12th in the points. However, if you were to get 2 wins, does that make you a wild card contender and get a chase put you in the catbird seat for the chase contention? We'll chat more about it later on in NASCAR Live. Johnny?
Wendy, thanks a lot. Remember, Kyle Busch was the last driver to sweep the road course races. Did it back in 2008. Now, Sprint Cup Series practice is coming your way soon on this Fast Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Speed Center at 4:30 Eastern Time. Then, Greatest Car Collector Auction Anywhere, Barrett Jackson from Orange County. Sprint Cup Series qualifying comes your way at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. That's all on the menu for this Fast Friday. Coming up on NASCAR Live, presented by Geico, where have all the road course ringers gone? There used to be a lot of them. Now they seem to be a bit of a dying breed. And will Marcus Ambrose be the one to get the win and potentially a wild card berth this weekend? If anybody can get it done, it's the Aussie. And also, was Michigan a sign of things to come for Dale Earnhardt Jr.? A lot of fans think so. The Jr. does it well. We'll talk about the 88 crew when we come back to NASCAR Live.
NASCAR Live is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more in car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. Brought to you in part by O'Reilly. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. And by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Seen the signs on the passers-by, something's got to give. Can't be free if it's good for me, but this good thing comes along and I can't deny too long. I need you to save me. I need you to set me free.
Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. From Golden Corral, the restaurant that brought you the incredible chocolate wonderfall, 2 words.
Cotton candy.
Yup, it's cotton candy time at Golden Corral from the folks that brought you the chocolate wonderfall.
I didn't think they could top the chocolate wonderfall.
Until now.
This must be one of those only Golden Corral kind of things.
Cotton candy and the chocolate wonderfall, both part of our endless buffet for one incredibly low price.
It's terrific. It makes me feel like a kid again.
Golden Corral, help yourself to happiness.
I pledge to secede from the kitchen.
I pledge for the porterhouse by the chicken of the pork chops.
McCormick Grillmates invites you to take your flavor to the next level. Join Grillmates and join the Grillerhood.
Introducing a powerful weapon in your fight against bugs, Ortho Home Defense Max. With a new continuous spray wand and a fast-acting formula, so you can kill bugs inside and keep bugs out, guaranteed. Ortho Home Defense Max.
It doesn't matter how much paint is traded or how many fenders get bent along the way. Because what happens on the track isn't the only thing that makes this a contact sport. NASCAR, everything else is just a game.
There is a new sheriff in town, and his name, Dale Earnhardt Jr. There is going to be a party in Junior Nation tonight. The streak is over. Dale Earnhardt Jr. back to victory lane in Michigan.
So you guys have been waiting on that one. I know I am.
It is quite possibly the most talked about streak in the history of NASCAR, but it is over now. Dale Earnhardt Jr. got the win last week in Michigan. Now with 1 win, 6 top 5 finishes, he looks poised at a championship run when the chase begins. For more on Junior, let's go to Bob Dillner.
Well, JR, that streak was at 142 races. He did not win for that long. Finally, last week, as you said, Dale Earnhardt Jr. broke into victory lane for the first time in 4 years. And it was like the monkey was off of his back. He's having a fantastic season so far. He has more top 10s this year than any other driver in this garage area. In fact, he's got 12 total. So the consistency is there for Dale Earnhardt Jr. But we all know that the next 8 or 9 races very crucial for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Back in 08, he had a great season to start out with, struggled in the summer months. Then again last year, he started off really well, struggled over the summer months. So the guys on this team tell me they know very crucial is the next 8 or 9 races. He has completed every lap so far this year, and that is something, if he's able to continue that streak throughout the year, no other Cup driver in the history of NASCAR has ever done. Today at Sonoma, they want to get on track, get this 88 straightened out in 12 races here. No top 10 finishes. But Larry Mack, I got a question for you. Are we seeing a different Dale Earnhardt Jr. than in years past?
Well, Bob, I think we're seeing a different Dale Earnhardt Jr., but I think we're seeing a different race team with Steve Letarte. They had that year together last year, and Bob, just like you said it, last year after race number 15, they were sitting there 3rd in the points. After that, they finished 7th in the points, but they only had 1 top 5 finish the rest of the year. So I just see a different type of confidence in Dale Earnhardt Jr. and that race team. But what they have to be careful, as we know, momentum and confidence will do a lot for you, but road course race at Sonoma, it's not been the greatest of Dale Earnhardt Jr. 12 starts here. He has no top 10 finishes, but don't let that zap your confidence. If you do come here and you do have a rough weekend, just remember, other than maybe Watkins Glen, it has nothing to do with anything else. Just get through this weekend, and then we'll move on from there.
And now what question are we going to ask, Larry?
Well, when are you going to win again? But one other thing I do want to point out quickly, Bob talked about the number of laps that he's led. And, yeah, if you look at Pocono and Michigan these last 2 weeks, he has led 131 laps in dominant fashion. JR, he only led 52 laps total in 2011. There's a different race team and a different Dale Earnhardt Jr. there than we've seen the last few years.
Yeah, one season can certainly make a big difference. Let's take a look at some of the congratulatory tweets that came out for Dale Jr. after he won in Michigan. First one came from sister Kelly. Kelly says, finally the thrill of victory. So excited for HMS, our family, friends, and Junior Nation. And also, how about Danica? She said, way to go, boss. Great job. Great to see Junior back in victory lane again. That was from Danica. And the tweets just kept on coming after that. As we also got one from Brad Paisley as well. He says, Junior, hallelujah. Of course, Brad Paisley, a big fan of Hendrick Motorsports. And Junior, he chimed in with that tweet. And Sunday, immediately following the Sprint Cup race from Sonoma, turned to speed for comprehensive post-race coverage. Matt Clark, Jeff Hammond, and myself will celebrate with the winner, debate and analyze all of the road course action, and catch up with the key players after the checkered flag flies. NASCAR Victory Lane, immediately following the Sprint Cup race from Sonoma, right here on Speed. And coming up on NASCAR Live, presented by Geico, you know there used to be a ton of road course ringers that came out for these two events each year in the Sprint Cup Series, but that number has dwindled over the past couple of seasons. And also, Marcus Ambrose is one of those drivers in the top 20 right now with a chance to win and definitely a chance to make his way into the chase. We will talk to Marcus when we come back.
Thursday on Speed. The battle is on in the Bluegrass State.
Drives it in there hard.
And the wall he goes. Live NASCAR Camping World Truck Series action from Kentucky kicks off Thursday at 5 Eastern on Speed.
When you pay too much for cable, you feel powerless. When you feel powerless, you want to take the power back. When you want to take the power back, you take karate. When you take karate, you want to use your karate. When you want to use your karate, you become the Fist of Goodness. When you become the Fist of Goodness, you run along rooftops. And when you run along rooftops, you fall into a dinner party. Don't fall into a dinner party. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
I feel like I've known these people for years, and I've just met them.
Going ITT Tech, I have to say, is the thing that changed my life.
People see me and they see that I've succeeded. The change in life that it's occurred within me, just having my education.
Everything starts with the day I walked into that door at ITT. Night and day difference from where I was to where I am thanks to the education. That one choice to walk in and talk to a recruiter has spawned everything that has happened in my life over the last few years.
It's made a big difference in my life. It's opened doors for me and my family to have not only a better life, but more time to relax, more time to enjoy life.
His future, full of fun and promise. And Lucas Deep Clean Fuel System Cleaner will help keep it that way. Lucas Deep Clean Fuel System Cleaner substantially reduces greenhouse gas emissions, including nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide, and hydrocarbons, while improving fuel mileage using less fossil fuels. His fossil fuels. Just one little bottle with each fill-up, and his future can stay that much brighter.
NASCAR Home Tracks, where a single moment can turn a day at the track into a lifetime at the track.
Today, Barrett-Jackson, Orange County returns to Speed. See the finest classics, exotics, muscle cars, hot rods, and the most incredible collectibles on the planet, all in one place, all up for grabs. Watch the auction live and build your dream collection. Barrett-Jackson, Orange County begins today at 5 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. And let us take a look, Larry Mack, at the Sprint Cup Series standings after 15 of the 36 races. Of course, just 10 now to go until that cutoff. Matt Kenseth is on top right now, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. just 4 points behind.
And here's a nugget. If you look at our top 10 drivers in the points down through Brad Keselowski, only 3 wins at Sonoma, 2 by Tony Stewart and 1 by Jimmy Johnson.
And 3 winless drivers in the top 10 as well. Kyle Busch and Ryan Newman, by virtue of their wins and their points positions, have the wild card thing right now. But Larry Mack, the good thing about this wild card is we can legitimately talk about anybody in the top 20 right now because they now have an opportunity to win their way into the chase.
Yeah, because of points-wise, with 11 races to go before the chase, if you look at Joey Logano and lower, they are all more than 1 race out. And not only is it 1 race, think of all the drivers you have to leapfrog to get to that top 10.
But you can get in by winning, and that's exactly what Marcus Ambrose is hoping to do this weekend. He is with Wendy Venturini.
Thanks, Johnny. Marcus Ambrose definitely has some high chances when we come to the road courses. Now, you just said in the media center this morning that you're not looking for a win, Marcus. You are looking for a solid top 5 finish to get you towards the end. Why is that?
Well, we're in the middle of the championship. You know, we still feel like we've got a chance to make
make the chase. And we're 17 points right now. Anything can and normally does happen in NASCAR. So, we've had a really good couple of months. I don't want to throw the added pressure on of saying we must win or it's a failed weekend. I mean, if we can walk out of here with a good top 5, jump a couple of spots in the championship, that's what it's all about.
Now, you also talked in the media center about the aggression we see here at this racetrack, much like the old days of Bristol. Talk about that aggression, and are you willing to take some chances if you aren't really going for the win? I think you're going to need it for the chase.
This track's really tight and technical, and with the two-car restarts, side-by-side deal, it's really easy to do a bit of payback from the first part of the season. Because really you just spin them out and then you go, I told you so, I told you I was going to do it, right? And then you get guys who get mad after this race and then do payback later on. So it's just a really difficult track to get around. The contact is it's always going to happen around this place. You just can't stop it, and if you're going to be aggressive, you're just going to have to rub panels to make passes, and it makes people mad. So you got to really watch out because you don't want to ruin a race by getting yourself dumped. You want to make sure that you try to look after your equipment as best you can, but this place is tough to do that.
There were colorful comments. You could check Twitter for what he said in the media center, but no doubt a lot of pressure this weekend, not only to do well, but also a lot of children are counting on you. Tell us about that.
That's right. If I win the race here on Sunday, on behalf of Stanley, Ace Hardware, and the Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, we're going to donate $1 million for sick kids. And so we've got 4 kids out here. We've got all a new wrap on the car with all the kids have signed their name on the race car and stuff from the hospital. So it's a great initiative. Even if I tank and come dead last, we're still going to donate over $100,000. So pretty cool story. And just looking forward to getting out there and trying to win for the kids.
All right, well, good luck out there this weekend. And John, if you look at the paint scheme from afar, it looks the same, but as you look a little bit closer, there is one child's name for every state represented. A pretty cool paint scheme this weekend here in Sonoma.
Yeah, Wendy, what a great way to give back for Marcus Ambrose. And chances are those kids are in pretty good, have a good chance of getting that $1 million because a win could be coming soon for Ambrose. 3 top 10 finishes in the last 5 races, so he is trending towards that. But 17th in Sprint Cup Series standings, Larry Mack, and he wants to get in that chase. He's going to have to win, and what a better place for him to win than the road courses.
Well, we know how close he's come to winning here, but I think he and his race team, they come in here in the best shape that he's been in all the years of coming here. You saw the stats. First 10 races this year, no top 10s. The last 5 races, they've got speed. 3 top 10 finishes. I think he and that race team are in much better shape, and that's a lying man if he says he's not has victory lane on his mind, just a solid finish. I know better than that.
Because he certainly can get it done. He was so close before, but right now we're going to head you over to the other side of the country and check in with Speed Center where Rick Allen is holding down the fort. Rick?
Thanks, John. Let's get you up to speed. Formula One's European Grand Prix is in Valencia this weekend. Practice kicked off today with Spain's winner, Pastor Maldonado, topping the speed times of the first practice. Practice 2 was led by Red Bull's Sebastian Vettel after being second in P1. One delay in this session when HRT's Pedro de la Rosa took this hard hit into the tire barriers. Take a look. And yes, that's not good. World Rally in New Zealand. After day 1 at Sebastian Loeb leading his teammate Nico Hirvonen by 4 seconds, Jari-Matti Latvala was 3rd going into this wire fence, and that would hold him up for 4 minutes and dropping him tonight. And IndyCar on the short track of Iowa Speedway, last year's winner Marco Andretti starting strong in their first practice as he led the session. Well, catch us here on Speed Center, 4:30, and don't miss Speed's coverage of Barrett Jackson from Orange County, which begins today at 5 p.m. Both times are Eastern.
Sunday, after the 88's march to victory in Michigan.
It's been a long time coming.
Steve Letarte tells us how Junior became Hendrick's most intimidating driver. NASCAR Race Day Fuel by Sunoco, Sunday at noon Eastern, only on Speed.
So this performance bowling ball is yet another way Bridgestone is bringing its tire technologies to the world of sports.
Right. It's about going farther on less energy. The same technology that allows our fuel-efficient Ecopia tires to save you up to $450 in gas over their lifetime. That's pro bowling champ Kelly Kulik helping us test it out.
Minimal exertion, maximum distance, and control.
Looks like Kelly wants your prototype.
At Bridgestone, our passion for performance knows no bounds.
So you're living paycheck to paycheck. Guess what? You're not alone. If you need extra cash for an emergency or any other reason, call Money Mutual. Money Mutual has over 100 short-term lenders who can lend up to $1,000, and they can put that money directly in your checking account in as little as 24 hours. That could give you a little cushion, so you're not living paycheck to paycheck. How do you get a loan? Just be 18 or older and have a regular income of $800 a month. So call Money Mutual at 1-800-555-CASH or go to moneymutual.com.
Attention, if you have a hip replacement, listen carefully.
If you have a DePuy or any other brand of metal-on-metal hip replacement and it's been removed or it's causing you problems, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
Certain hip implants can fail, causing you severe pain. Sometimes the hip implants need to be replaced entirely. Call us right now. You may be entitled to compensation.
Call 800-233-4763. That's 800-233-4763.
At Sonoma. Your man, pal, bud. Victory for Casey Kane. Johnson wins. Kurt Busch a winner at Infineon.
Here are the last 7 winners at Infineon Raceway. Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon, 2 of the best road course racers anywhere. In fact, Jeff Gordon leads all active drivers, all drivers anyway, with 9 road course victories. Juan Pablo Montoya from Juan on down, all those drivers got their first ever road course victory here at Sonoma in the last 4 seasons. Now let's go to Bob Dillner, who's standing by with one of the road course ringers. Bob, it's great to see these guys. We only get to see them twice a year.
Well, the big question is, where have they gone as well, Johnny? So Boris said one of only a handful of ringers in the field. We want to know, where are all these road course specialists and what have they done?
Well, I think having Road America the same weekend probably brought a few of them out there racing the Nationwide Series. But I think it's kind of an extinct thing now because all these guys, the regulars, they've gotten so good at road racing, they don't really need to bring in, the so-called ringer anymore.
We saw this race over the past couple of years, and we were joking about it. It's become rough and tumble, whether you're a regular or a ringer or whatever. Why is that, Boris?
I think the biggest thing NASCAR did was implement the double file restarts. For some reason, here compared to Watkins Glen, you can stay 2 by 2 for the whole lap, and you try to go into a few of them and be like defensive, and you end up getting run over and passed by 10 cars. So you really got to be aggressive, and it's just really easy for contact. I mean, these guys. And the closer it gets to the end of the race, the more aggressive everybody gets. So, I mean, it makes it fun for the drivers, not so fun for the team owners, but great for the fans, and that's the biggest thing.
Keep an eye on this guy this weekend. He's in the HendrickCars.com car. That is an association with Rick Hendrick, and he's driving a Ford here in Sonoma. Go figure.
Bob, thanks a lot. It's always good to see Boris, a couple of the road course ringers, come out and join us at these tracks because they're so difficult to run these days. Larry Mack, you used to have guys come out and we'd say, okay, can one of these so-called ringers go out there and knock somebody off and actually get the win? But it's so hard to do that if you don't have a regular cup team pitting the car and things like that.
Well, there's so many things that trying to come in here on a 1 or 2 race a year basis that's so hard to maneuver. You just think about how our regular drivers, how they even work the segments on pit road during pit stops. And it's tough. I don't care how much road racing you do to come in here and climb in these 3,450-pound tanks and try to go around this road course. But I will say, keep an eye on Boris and another road course ringer. I think we have to call him that now because he's not been with us but 2 races this year. Robbie Gordon is back this weekend in that 7 car. We know he's going to be tough. He swept the road course races back in 2003.
Yes, that's another good thing about this weekend. It's great to see Robbie Gordon back out on the racetrack as well. And the number 7, let's take a look at some more tweets from Twitterville. Casey Kane says, ready to get started at Sonoma. Always enjoy being in the area and getting to drive here. It's certainly fun for the fans to watch as well. Totally different look this weekend. Joey Logano is up and ready to go for some road course racing this weekend. Can't wait for practice. Of course, Joey sat on the pole last time we came to this racetrack, and he too is on a roll as well. Matt Kansas says, being a tourist the last couple of days was fun, but I'm excited to be back at the racetrack where Matt Kenseth is anything but a tourist, as he is our points leader. Well, this July, don't miss the biggest event of the summer as baseball's greatest stars battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series begins with 2012 Major League Baseball's All-Star Game, Tuesday, July 10th at 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific on Fox. Got to take a quick break here on NASCAR Live, presented by Geico, but when we come back to the wine country of Sonoma, we'll get you ready for practice.
NASCAR Live is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. Brought to you in part by Nature Valley. 100% natural, 100% delicious. And by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Here. Mike's. That's different. Sometimes you gotta change things up.
Yours? Mike's. Always different, always refreshing.
Get great deals on great gear at Bass Pro Shop's 4th of July sale, like Bass Pro flag tees for only $5. Take 25% off all XPS towable tubes. And check out Family Summer Camp with kids' workshops, crafts, and more, all for free.
Good morning! Wow. You want to start the day with something heart-healthy and delicious?
You're a talking bee.
Honey Nut Cheerios has whole grain oats that can help lower cholesterol.
And it tastes good?
Sure does.
Right. Wow.
Delicious, right?
Yeah.
It's the honey. It makes it taste so... Well, would you look at the time?
What's the rush?
A whole lot of reasons to hit the open road on a Can-Am Spyder Roadster. And now we're giving you yet another. It's the Can-Am Test Ride event. Visit canam.brp.com to find out how you can take one for a test ride, whether you have a motorcycle license or not. And with special financing, you could own a Can-Am Roadster of your own for as little as $199 a month. See your local dealer for details or visit canam.brp.com.
Introducing a powerful weapon in your fight against bugs, Ortho Home Defense Max. With a new continuous spray wand and a fast-acting formula, so you can kill bugs inside and keep bugs out, guaranteed. Ortho Home Defense Max.
It was easily the most asked question in all of NASCAR. When is Dale Jr. going to win? And the fans got their answer last weekend at the Michigan International Speedway. Some 4 years of waiting for Dale Jr. He is back on top, and now that answers all of the questions for the team, the fans, and the NASCAR community as a whole.
You got a lot of guys around you all the time that are looking at you like, when are you going to get it done? When are you going to make it happen? And you got a lot of fans supporting you that are loyal, never waver, never question. They question everything but you. You know, they question everything: the car, the crew chief, the team. It's this, it's that. So you got you got a lot of things going on there in a long span of time to get back to victory lane. You know, where you want to be.
After 4 long years of waiting, Dale Jr. is back on top. Sunday on NASCAR Race Day, we'll look back at his breakthrough win, and crew chief Steve Letarte tells us just how Jr. became Hendrick's hottest driver. Don't miss NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco, Sunday at noon Eastern, right here on Speed. And as Dale Jr. and the rest of the Sprint Cup Series gets ready to go out for practice, Larry Mack, what are you looking for today?
Well, Borisset talked about it. Double file restarts. That when by the time they get to turn 2, they look like bowling pins up there after a restart. But I promise you, we've not even hit the racetrack yet, but crew chiefs and engineers and drivers are working together right now. Can I make this a 2-stop race? Or am I going to have to make it in 3 stops? And this is a racetrack, a race. Go back to last year. Tony Stewart sitting up on top of the tires.
Yep.
Boys have at it, tends to come back out with it a little bit.
Yes, if you like beating and banging, you have come to the right place, the road course this weekend. Here's your Fast Friday menu. Sprint Cup Series practice is coming your way next. Speed Center at 4:30 Eastern Time. Barrett Jackson from Orange County. And then Sprint Cup Series qualifying at 11 p.m. Eastern. See who will start where. And right now, we're going to find out who will be fast in this practice session as we send it to the broadcast booth and Adam Alexander. Take it away, Double A.
Getting set to go. In preparation for this weekend's Toyota Mart 350. This is the only practice today, qualifying later on. And here's the weather. Not exactly what you would expect when we come to Northern California. 61 degrees. There is a slight breeze, cloudy skies, and you will find this hard to believe, but we actually had a light shower here earlier today. Good to have you with us once again with Kyle Petty, Wally Dallenbach. I'm Adam Alexander. So last week, Wally, we're going over 200 miles per hour at Michigan. Now the twists and turns of a road course. How do you adjust as a driver?
It feels like 200 miles per hour sometimes, depending on your car handles at this place. But, you know, it's pretty busy racetrack. You have to attack this place. It's kind of a balance in between running this track really, really hard and trying to save your equipment. But I think the biggest thing everybody's going to be working on today, obviously qualifying's next, so they're going to be working on qualifying. But it's a nice balance to the race car.
There was a time, Kyle, when the Sprint Cup Series came to a road course and the mentality was, let's just get through this until next week. Yeah. Not anymore. They love this stuff and they work hard at it.
There were always 3 or 4 guys that were pretty good at it. Ricky Rudd, Terry Labonte, guys like that. They were pretty good at this sport. And then we always talked about the ringers. The problem was the ringers never really won this race or won a cup race unless you go back to Dan Gurney. But what the ringers did, they made the cup guys get better. They made them focus more on this type of racing. And when you go back, the teams have gotten better with the cars. The drivers have gotten better. The strategy's gotten better. These guys are road racers now.
Yeah, Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon, a couple at the top of the board. When you talk about road course racing, they have combined for 16 wins at their career, 7 of them coming right here in Sonoma. And there is Jeff Gordon. He's inside the top 20 in points, and a victory here on Sunday would put him right in the middle of the wild card mix.
Well, maybe not in the middle.
In the back half of the wild card conversation.
In the back
right?
of the wild card conversation, but at least he would be in the wild card conversation.
You know, it's interesting, though, if you look at the top 20 in points from 17th on back, you have Marcus Ambrose there, Juan Pablo Montoya and Jeff Gordon, 3 of the best road course racers in Sprint Cup Series competition. And if any of those guys can come out and get a win here on Sunday, and all of them will likely have a chance when you look at their past record here, they certainly would have a chance to make the chase come September.
Yeah, talked to Jeff on our 15-hour flight from Charlotte to San Francisco yesterday about, you know, the road course testing. And these guys, you know, one thing Jeff said is they did some testing at Road Atlanta. But it's like, you know, we learned so much last year what not to do at Sonoma. We think we got a pretty good handle on it for this year.
Yeah, and you talk about that group of drivers, Adam. The thing is, Jeff can win on the road course, but he can also win on the oval.
Right.
I think when we talk about Juan or we talk about Marcus so far, those guys have yet to prove that they can win on an oval. I believe they can. They've just not been in position. This 24 team has put themselves in position so far out of the first 14 or 15 races, or whatever we are into the season now. Seems like it's been 2 years. But they put themselves in position to win at least 2 or 3 races.
Yeah, they are a guy that they've got a really good shot at making a change. I mean, all they got to do is have a little bit of luck. Like Kyle said, these guys have been running well enough to win races, and they're obviously, they have to win races at this point. They know they're not going to make it on points, but they're good enough to get in the chase on wins.
We were talking earlier, though, about how teams focus on the road courses these days when they used to not worry about it as much. The testing, VIR, Road Atlanta, some people going to Mid-Ohio. In fact, Kevin Harvick's team stopped in Colorado on the way out here just to make sure they're dialed in for the road course.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that testing, and what guys have realized, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Wally, I think a lot of those guys have realized that the testing they do on a road course with their brake packages and with things like that, transmissions, gears, whatever they may do, really transfers to some of the other places we run now, to a Martinsville, to a Bristol, to some of the places where you use heavy braking.
You're using the same stuff.
You're using the same stuff. So I think they've realized that they've integrated. Used to, and you talk about it, we used to look at the road course races as being standalone races. Now they've integrated them, the teams have, into what their full season is.
I remember, like, the first time I went to Martinsville, you know, they're like, well, you got to let off at the start finish line. I'm like, well, why don't you guys just put better brakes on these cars?
Exactly.
You know,
why don't you do something better?
Yeah.
The big headline of the week, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
That was a headline?
To victory lane.
That was a headline?
It certainly was. You know, I bumped into the '89 Sonoma winner, KP, earlier this week, Ricky Rudd. He told me every time the road course races rolled around, the fun meter went through the roof, different discipline, a lot of unique challenges, and he always said it was almost like going and playing golf with his buddies. It was so much fun. When you look at the past 5 winners here at Sonoma, it was their first ever Sprint Cup road course win, so maybe the top 3 in points, including Dale Earnhardt Jr., they can keep that trend alive. In fact, Junior's never even finished in the top 10 here at Sonoma, so it could be a huge weekend for him. And when you look across the board, though, Chris Neville, I think probably the biggest headline coming out of Sonoma could be on the technology-wise, a huge test this weekend.
Yeah, Matt, one thing we always hear at Sonoma is forward bite, trying to get off turn 11, trying to get off turn 2, getting that 850 horsepower to stick to the ground. And in previous years, it's been shocks, sway bars, springs, trying to get that mechanical grip. But this year, something new. The EFI, the electronic fuel injection, 30 of these teams tested just a few weeks ago at Virginia International Raceway, trying to come up with that perfect fuel map to help them get off these slow speed corners here. Some of these teams, in particular the 15 team, Brian Patty was just telling me that they developed 4 different fuel maps that they're going to try in this session. Those maps trying to help that car get off those slower corners and not burn the tires to the ground.
Tony Stewart, no stranger to success when it comes to road course racing. In the opening practice the weekend, he's 15th. Jimmy Johnson, who won here 2 years ago, quickest so far in Sonoma.
Engines are tuned. So are Mobil 1 motor oils. Tuned for blistering performance. Tuned for everyday extremes. And with Mobil 1 Extended Performance, tuned to keep your engine running like new for up to 15,000 miles between oil changes. Mobil 1 Extended Performance, from the motor oil brand designed to keep your engine running like new.
I kind of knew their reaction would be a little like, what are you thinking?
I had a knot in my chest. I didn't really want her to go, but I knew she could do it.
I felt like there were bigger and better things for me to do.
She took what she was doing seriously.
My self-confidence just went through the roof.
It was awesome to see her transform from a girl in a small town to a soldier.
You made them strong. We'll make them Army strong. Talk to your son or daughter about joining the Army. Find out how at goarmy.com/parents.
Pizza Hut believes you deserve better than a boring sub. Say hello to the Pozzolo in meat trio, Italian steak, or buffalo chicken. Get one for $3 or 2 for $5. Pizza Hut, make it great.
Neighbors! We shouldn't need a GPS to find the fertilizer. We should go to Ace, where we can zip in, find what we need, and zip out.
Our speedy-sized stores help get your weekend back at Ace.
In NASCAR, we all share a connection. It's a connection that fills us with a sense of pride, compassion, hope. It's a spirit that shows its true power when someone needs us most. Because when someone needs us, NASCAR unites. Join us for NASCAR Unites, an American salute, to celebrate America and honor our troops. Learn how at NASCAR.com/unites.
Speed's presentation of NASCAR Sprint Cup practice from Sonoma, brought to you by AutoZone. For the auto parts and advice you need, get in the zone, AutoZone. Just about 10 minutes into the opening practice of the weekend here in wine country, and we got some problems. Stephen Light smoking. Driving the 33 this weekend.
That would be catastrophic.
Yeah, it looks. It's not where you want to be 10 minutes into the opening practice.
No.
Stephen Light trying to make his first road course start of his career this weekend. Take a look at the replay here.
Oh, started way back up the hill. Does a pretty good job of staying right in the groove. Sorry about that.
You couldn't resist, could
I couldn't
you?
resist. I'm sorry. I'm just in that mood today. Get in at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Stephen Light, not the only driver that's had problems early in this practice. You see Brad Keselowski in the garage area. I would say they're making an adjustment because he's not where he wanted to be on track a moment ago.
Ooh. I'd say he's a little bit free to the right.
I would say.
But it's like Wally said earlier. These guys are being looking for balance. That's not balance. You want that thing. It's okay if it's a little loose to the left and a little loose to the right, or a little pushy to the left and a little pushy to the right. At least it's balanced. Obviously, that thing was way, way loose when he turned into the right.
The crew going to try and get it dialed in. We're under caution at Sonoma. Jimmy Johnson, Marcus Ambrose, Greg Biffle, Jeff Gordon, Martin Truex Jr., the top 5 on Fast Friday.
Away is the crackle of the campfire. It can be 1,000,000 years old or a few weeks young. Away beckons from Orion's belt. Away is a place that's closer than you think. Find your Away. For a dealer in the RV that's right for you, visit GoRVing.com.
The most important part of owning a vehicle is proper maintenance. And proper maintenance begins with Z-Max. Z-Max is a micro-lubricant that soaks into metal. Using Z-Max in your engine will reduce friction, heat, and remove harmful deposits. Plus, adding Z-Max to your fuel system will help maintain gas mileage and reduce emissions. Z-Max will reduce wear on vital engine parts and help extend the life of your engine. If you're looking to get the most out of your engine, then you're looking for Z-Max. It's in the science. Available at Napa.
Let's face it, handheld string trimmers are hard-starting backbreakers that are too weak to do an effective job. But the good news is you don't have to struggle with these things anymore. The legendary DR trimmer mower starts instantly, rolls on 2 big wheels, and cuts a 22-inch path with 5 times the power of handheld trimmers. Thick weeds and tall grass don't stand a chance. Use the DR to trim in every corner of your property, including tight spots where a mower just can't fit, along garden borders, fence lines, and stone walls. So start trimming and mowing the right way, the DR way, with a DR trimmer mower.
Call 1-800-208-4592 for your free DR catalog and DVD. You'll learn how you can try a DR trimmer mower for 6 months. Free shipping is now in effect, so call 1-800-208-4592. Online at drtrimmers.com.
DR is professional power for homeowners.
Today, Barrett-Jackson, Orange County returns to speed. See the finest classics, muscle cars, hot rods, and the most incredible collectibles on the planet, all in one place and all up for grabs. Watch the auction live and build your dream collection. It's Barrett-Jackson, Orange County, and it all begins today, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Speed. Let's go downstairs to Chris Neville.
Well, Boris said right now in the garage making some adjustments. I talked to Boris earlier. Last time he was in a Cup car was August at Watkins Glen, and they didn't have any time to do any testing in this car, so he said the biggest thing he was going to do in this first practice is just get used to the big Cup car again. He normally runs in the Grand Am Rolex Series in a Corvette, which is 800 pounds lighter than this car, has a lot less horsepower. So Boris said, you know, he really needed to focus on getting used to the big car again. Not so much trying to figure out a good setup, but just getting used to all that weight that moves around in a Cup car compared to a sports car.
And it won't take him long. I mean, you know, you obviously get back in and you get a feel for things really quick. Morse has got enough experience in different cars where, you know, I mean, he's already, what is he on? He's 19th on the list right there. But yeah, these things are tanks compared to everything else he's driving right now.
And he's 19th, and let's be clear, he's 19th. And a car that's not one of the top cars on a regular basis on the circuit. And when we go to other places, it's a 35th plus car, and he's 19th at this point.
And at some point on Sunday, we'll be talking about him as a part of the equation.
Yes.
A couple of 6th place finishes here at Sonoma, the best ever for Boris said. We're still under caution during practice.
Thursday on Speed. The battle is on in the Bluegrass State.
Drives it in there hard. Into the wall he goes.
Live NASCAR Camping Road Truck Series action from Kentucky kicks off Thursday at 5 Eastern on Speed.
With a driving range of more than 550 miles, you'll inevitably find yourself on a desolate highway in your Jeep Grand Cherokee. And when you do, you'll be grateful for the adaptive cruise control that automatically adjusts your speed when approaching slower traffic. And for the blind spot monitoring that helps remind you that the highway might not be as desolate as you thought.
You get in the zone long before the race. Get your head right and focus. On race day, you don't leave anything to chance. Get set every morning with Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Engineered with our thinnest blades ever, so it glides for less tug and pull. Great starts begin with Gillette Fusion Pro Glide.
I almost got it, honey. I'm never gonna get out of here.
Don't worry. You're covered with Good Sam Roadside Assistance. Watch this. Good Sam Roadside Assistance for cars, trucks, motorcycles, and boats will have you back on the road in no time.
Great. Can you do anything about them?
Dad, we found a turtle! This is gonna be the best vacation ever!
For roadside assistance with any vehicle, remember Good Sam. Because if it's not Good Sam, it's not good enough.
Welcome back to Sonoma. 16 minutes into the opening practice of the weekend. About half of that time has been spent under caution because Stephen Light blew an engine. Let's check out an American Ethanol Fast Fact. There are more than 9 million flex fuel vehicles on the road, which can run anything from E10 up to E85.
About 1 million pounds of safety clean out there on the racetrack.
Yes,
right now,
they do
too.
right now. Yes, they do.
We want to show you the action on track, so as they continue to clean things up, we'll step aside, and hopefully when we return, we'll continue with practice live from Sonoma.
Sunday, after the 88's march to victory in Michigan.
It's been a long time coming.
Steve Letarte tells us how Junior became Hendrick's most intimidating driver. NASCAR Race Day Fuel by Sunoco, Sunday at noon Eastern, only on Speed.
You can spend a fortnight at Wimbledon, or you can spend it the DirecTV way, with 6 dedicated channels so you can watch every match of the tournament. It's Wimbledon like never before, and it's only on DirecTV.
Get great deals at Bass Pro Shop's 4th of July sale, like men's color block bouquet polos for under $13. This 6-bearing reel and graphite rod bait caster for under $60. And check out Family Summer Camp with kids' workshops, crafts, and more, all for free.
People think because I spend all my weekends at the racetrack, my life is predictable. Actually, things are constantly changing. And whether I need to protect my ATV, my truck, a new home, cover my home away from home, having life insurance, or a growing business, with Nationwide Insurance, I can bundle them together and save. You can too, up to 25%. So call Nationwide Insurance today to bundle and save.
Nationwide is on your side. Call 866-500-5555.
Yesterday, Bradley put Peak Motor Oil into his car.
And today, his car has been transformed into an example of improved engine performance and fuel efficiency, saving him money on gas. Change your motor oil to Peak for peak performance. This car is money. Change your oil, save on gas. When you peak, you win.
This summer, join the entire NASCAR community for NASCAR Unites and American Salute. Learn how at NASCAR.com/unites.
Still under caution in Sonoma. Opening practice for the Toyota Save Mart 350. I understand that's a 3-ticket ride. I think we could fit 3 across if you guys not doing anything between practice and qualifying.
That ride's kind of like my career. It goes round and round and never went anywhere.
If it go upside down, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be.
Bail us out, Matt.
I'll try to do the best I can. And by the way, when you look at running here at Sonoma and you're talking about the Ferris wheel, this guy, round and round, 3 top 5 finishes and 6 starts here on this road course. I don't want to put any added pressure on you to score that first win, but the last 5 winners here, it was their first road course win in Cup.
I was wondering where you were going with that Ferris wheel deal. I thought I was in trouble.
Well, by the way, also your car owner thinks every racetrack should have a Ferris wheel.
Okay.
It's for our younger demographic.
Yeah, you know, it's so much fun coming out here. The track is fun. I don't know why, but I always just enjoy racing at it. And usually a race car driver, if he enjoys the track, success usually is shortly thereafter. But our 5-hour Energy Toyota is pretty good. I think we're top 10 somewhere on the board. Gonna go out and make a qualifying run. This rain's coming on its way, and we want to make sure that we're up there in practice speed so we can have a good qualifying effort just in case it rains out.
Now, playing off the kids and the Ferris wheels, you like to do a lot with your foundation concerning children. And coming up June 24th at Barrett-Jackson, you have a very special vehicle that you played a big part of, trying to auction it off to raise money.
Yeah, that's right, baby. Big night for us Saturday night. Barrett-Jackson on speed. we're going to be auctioning off a Toyota Tundra. It's pretty cool. It's kind of, I think they themed it the Boyer's Barn Find, but a brand new Toyota Tundra looks like it's been sitting in a field and working on a farm for the last 50, 60 years. Pretty cool truck. We're excited about it, and hopefully it raises a lot of money for them kids.
All right, good luck on the kids, and also good luck on your first win.
Yeah, I'm going to need it.
So there's one Michael Waltrip driver, and here's another. Martin Truex Jr. out in practice. Let's take a lap with him, Wally, and tell us what you see.
This is where working himself down the S's. This next corner here, not this left-hander, but setting up here to go through here is really, really important, because if you can get through this right-hander well, this is where you're going to set up on the guy that you're trying to pass. You get down into this braking zone in turn 11. This is probably the best part of the racetrack to where to try to overtake somebody. Coming up to the start-finish line. This is kind of a strange corner through here, because you're going left, you're going uphill, you really can't see. You're shifting and downshifting all when the car is not flat at all. Then the car sets, you immediately downshift, and you're turning to the right again. Car
Another
gets
interesting place in the track right there.
Yeah, that's where a lot of things get bottled up, especially on the restarts. This is a pretty cool part of the racetrack. It's a blind corner. You really carry a lot of speed over the top of this thing, and you really can't see on the other side of the hill. You pretty much guess where the racetrack is. Another kind of quick right-hander. This is another place where if you've got good brakes and your car's working good, you can make a pass. It's really wide out here, so you can even get on the outside of somebody trying to make a pass here. And then this all through here, there's not a whole lot of passing through this section. It's kind of the hurry downs. You just, you're just left, right. You're using up all the racetrack. And again, you're getting into that point where I think is one of the most important corners of the racetrack, and that's this left and right. You want to get through here good, because this is the key to try to outbraking somebody going into turn 11.
It's interesting to me. I was talking to Chad Johnston, the crew chief for Martin Truex Jr. this morning. I said, where'd you guys go and test? You go to Road Atlanta? You go to VIR up in Virginia? He said, nope. You know what? We didn't test. Because what we have found is those tracks can give you maybe not exactly the information you're looking for. We just like to show up and get it done. I thought that was interesting when you consider all the testing. The 56.
Really? I don't know. I just think it's always good, even if if it's nothing else, to get into the rhythm again of what road racing is all about, because it is quite different than, sitting on an oval. It just gets you back in that frame of mind. I don't think it hurts.
Yeah, I think sometimes I think it's better for the driver than it is even for the teams. You talk about the team guys, maybe they don't need to test, but I agree with Wally. For the driver to get back in the rhythm of shifting, of downshifting, of braking, of staying off the chip, of staying off the revs, sometimes you just get used to that oval stuff.
Jimmy Johnson right now quickest of the cars that have been out. A little slow on track there, and that's Jeff Burton.
Yeah,
with the Wheaties paint scheme closing in behind.
I think he was just slow getting up to speed and was trying to stay out of the way, and he got to a place on the racetrack that Wally pointed out a minute ago. There is no place to get out of the way. You can't pass there, you can't get out of the way. You see it in a race when they run up behind a slow car, they just have to check up.
Here they are through turn 11. Wally pointed out this is one of the more entertaining places on the racetrack, and what you saw right there with Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Burton, very tame in comparison with what we'll see on multiple occasions Sunday when the race unfolds.
It's also a frustrating part of the racetrack, because although it's the slowest corner on the racetrack, it's really difficult to get one of these big heavy cars through that corner to get it to roll through there so you can get off that corner really, really well. And sometimes it's real frustrating as a driver, because it just never seems like you can get a car rolled through there well.
What's the balance of patience and aggression when you come to a place like Sonoma? Because you got to take care of your race car, but you got to also get after it, long race, save fuel, all those things. How do you balance those two equations at a place like this?
It's hard. I mean, it's not like Watkins Glen's more of a flow racetrack. You carry a lot of speed and it's a faster racetrack. This place is a lot more physical, not only on the driver, but on the race car and the equipment. Again, like Kaka was talking about earlier, the equipment is so much better, so you can be more aggressive with these race cars. You have to take care of your brakes, but not like it was in where you had to pump it 15 times right here before you go to turn 11 because you were boiling the fluid all the time.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, I don't know, Kyle, I think the biggest thing now is managing your tires is probably the most important thing.
Yeah, and I think the race you divided into thirds almost. In the first third, I think these guys are fairly patient. They appear to be because they're trying to keep the nose on their car. They're trying to keep their stuff and get into that cycle of the strategy of when the pit. And we always see that. You run the race backwards. These guys talk about it from a pit standpoint. Middle part, you'll see some guys challenge a little bit or take some chances to put themselves in the right place. Last third of the race, straight aggression. You see these guys run all over each other for one position on the racetrack. And that was pretty aggressive right there, hitting that bump. But I think it goes through different stages because once you get behind in the last part of the race, you'll never get caught up. How many times have we seen a guy running fourth get spun up at the far end of the racetrack and end up 21st or 22nd and had a great day?
And you're watching this and go, man, he's running hard. Why is he running hard? Don't forget, these laps count in case we do get weather. This may be the where they start in the race.
Absolutely.
But I'd really
so these guys are really making qualifying runs right now to try to get up on the chart.
There he is. Haven't seen him in a while. Robbie Gordon back in the 7 car this
week. Good to have Robbie back.
Yes, it is. I think it'll be good on Sunday.
Yep.
Robbie in the 7 car, first couple of races this year, and first time we've seen him in a while. Former winner here at Sonoma. And we talked earlier about the hairpin and how challenging it can be. Look at A.J. Allmendinger coming through the corner, and right behind him, that's Regan Smith going around. A move like that on Sunday cost you 25 positions maybe.
Yeah, and you can see the 22 in front of him was pushing really bad through there. Like I said, it's a really frustrating part of the racetrack for race car drivers. Again, it's so slow, but you're just trying to get these cars around there, and it gets so jammed up down there.
See Denny Hamlin trying to bounce back from those problems he had last week at Michigan. In fact, you go back to last Sunday, it was a very disappointing day for Joe Gibbs Racing. You had Denny, problems coming off of turn 4, car caught on fire. He got out okay, but ended his run at a 3rd consecutive June victory in the Irish Hills. Joey Logano had a decent day going, involved in an accident on a restart over on the back straightaway. And Kyle Busch, for the 3rd consecutive week, engine problems. How aggressive do you have to be successful at a road course? Jimmy Johnson getting after it pretty good. He leads in the opening practice of the weekend in Sonoma.
Saturday. Look at this! It will take speed, execution, and braking power to conquer Road America. The Rolex Sports Car Series, Saturday 12 p.m. Eastern, live only on Speed.
The hotter the hot. The colder the cold. The greater the demand. The more you need Duralast. Batteries built to exceed the need. Batteries built to meet or exceed original equipment standards for cold cranking amps. Batteries built with the power to hold up to heavy electrical demands. Batteries so good they come with a coast-to-coast warranty. Only at AutoZone.
Most of us have tools. If something's broken, what do? You fix it. Montel here, and I'd like to tell you about a tool that can help fix your financial problems. Money Mutual has a network of over 100 short-term lenders to get you cash fast. Go to moneymutual.com today and you could have up to $1,000 in your checking account in as little as 24 hours. Just be 18 or older and have a regular monthly income of $800. It's no wonder that people from all across America have turned to Money Mutual. Visit moneymutual.com or call 1-800-555-CASH right now.
With the hundreds I saved at Progressive, I'm out here giving a little refill relief. Are you on empty here, Tyler?
Yes, actually, I honestly am.
Well, we're going to fill her up with savings. With the hundreds I saved at Progressive, this tank's on me. If I ever find the bird that did this to your car.
I am tickled. I don't know what to say. Thank you.
100. 101 ways to save.
This really happens, huh, guys?
This July, don't miss the biggest event of the summer as baseball's greatest stars battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series begins with the 2012 MLB All-Star Game, Tuesday, July 10th, 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific, only on Fox. 30 minutes into this 90-minute practice session that opens the weekend for Sprint Cup Series teams in Sonoma. Jimmy Johnson leading the way. He's been out for 3 laps. Marcus Ambrose and Greg Biffle have turned 4. They are second and third, respectively. Then you've got Clint Boyer and Martin Truex Jr., teammates over at Michael Waltrip Racing, completing the top 5. Dale Earnhardt Jr., who won last week at Sonoma, inside the top 10. And see Denny Hamlin on track here. He's 21st right now in the first practice session of the weekend. Talk about Marcus Ambrose. When you come to a place like Sonoma, he won the last road course race at Watkins Glen in August. He obviously has a background in this, Kyle, so you would expect when you come to Sonoma that he'll be one of the drivers that we talk about and will be fast. The other reason, though, that he's worth bringing up, they've been really good lately. I mean, at RPM, their organization has come a long way in the last month or 6 weeks.
Yeah, really, if you look at it, I think since Mike Ford has gone over there, I think they have pretty much established themselves pretty solid, 10th to 15th or 16th. I think Mike's moved the needle a little bit. I think working with Eric, that team has gotten better. The 43 car has gotten better. And a lot of that has bled over, I think, to the 9 car of Marcus Ambrose. And if we go back the last 2 years, Marcus could have won this race 2 years ago.
Yep.
Still was competitive last year out here, won Watkins Glen. So I think when you look at it, they've set on a pole at RPM, Richard Petty Motorsports. Both teams have set on a pole at big racetracks at Charlotte and at Michigan. And then to come to a place like this where the driver has that much confidence, that's got to be a big boost.
Ambrose top 10 in 3 of the last 5 races in Sprint Cup Series competition. As you ride with Greg Biffle, 3rd on the board here in practice, 3rd in the championship as we head into the race on Sunday. Heading down toward turn 4 here, Wally.
Biffle's been putting some pretty good laps on the board. That's a pretty interesting way to get around that corner.
Watkins Glen, not a bad racetrack for Greg Biffle and Matt Kenseth out of the Roush Fenway stables. Sonoma has not been a place that, when you look at the numbers, they would be excited to come to. But I think both drivers embracing the opportunity this weekend. And when you're in the championship hunt like they are, you got to go to the track every week with a mentality that you have a chance. And certainly Greg Biffle's performance in 2012 just about as good as anybody else. 1 win earlier this season. That was at Texas Motor Speedway. Kevin Harvick, he's a road course winner. In fact, if I remember the numbers right, one of only 3 drivers inside the top 10 in the championship standings that have won on a road course. He and Jimmy Johnson both have a victory. Johnson's coming here a couple of years ago. Harvick won at Sonoma that same year, I believe. And then you got Tony Stewart, who's 8th in the standings and has won 7 times on a road course.
And we were talking about this earlier. Guys used to throw away the road courses. Towards the end of Dale Sr.'s career, it became a big deal to have a victory on a short track, a mile track, a mile-and-a-half track, and a speedway, 2 miles and over on speedway racing. And, if we look and we go down the list, you've got Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch, and Kevin Harvick are the only guys in this field who have won on each type of racetrack that we go to. Now, that may not seem like a big deal to the general fan or the guy sitting in the grandstands, but that's a big deal to a driver, to say that you're versatile enough to win no matter where you go. We talk about Marcus Ambrose coming here, and we know he's going to be competitive here, but we don't think about Marcus a lot of times when we go to the ovals. Same thing with Juan sometimes, but I think to think that you're a threat everywhere you go, week in and week out, really there's only 4 or 5 guys in this field that have proved they can win everywhere.
Brian Vickers sharing time in that 55 car this season with Mark Martin and Michael Waltrip. Right now he's 30th. His teammate Martin Truex Jr. is 5th right now, Matt.
Chad Johnston back here in the 56 camp after the birth of son Chase. They're putting the finishing touches of swapping the car over to the qualifying trim. As you mentioned, Martin was 5th on the board, ran 5 laps, and he simply told Chad, I feel like we are exactly where we want to be. looking for Saturday's final practice session here at Sonoma. Remember Martin, he's very stout, whether it was the old Busch North car or even in the Nationwide car where he won at Mexico a few years back. Always very solid on the road courses. Almost won this race last year, ran second most of the day. But, you know, Wally, like what you and KP touched on, you have to use good tire management. He burned up his tires near the end, but this team, they've taken it to another level this year. You can't count out the 56 on Sunday.
Certainly confidence, a big part of the equation as well. And when you've been able to have some success like Martin has, that is going to help you when you come to the track on the weekend. 44 cars here for 43 positions. All 44 have been out in the opening practice. It continues to be Jimmy Johnson who shows the way.
Introducing a powerful weapon in your fight against bugs, Ortho Home Defense Max. With a new continuous spray wand and a fast-acting formula, so you can kill bugs inside and keep bugs out, guaranteed. Ortho Home Defense Max.
Neighbors! We shouldn't need a GPS to find the fertilizer. We should go to Ace, where we can zip in, find what we need, and zip out.
Our speedy-sized stores help get your weekend back at Ace.
A new car, please.
There are things way in front of that.
These days, everyone needs to make what they have last, and your car's transmission should not be overlooked. Lucas Transmission Fix keeps your automatic or manual transmission performing like new. It stops slipping and rough shifting while eliminating most seal leaks, increasing its life.
Yeah, she's got me this far. I think I'll stick with her.
Give yourself a little less worry with Lucas Transmission Fix.
Pizza Hut believes you deserve better than a boring sub. Say hello to the Pizzolo in meat trio, Italian steak, or buffalo chicken. Get one for $3 or two for $5. Pizza Hut. Make it great.
Guys Weekend. The stuff you can actually remember, you'll never forget. But for your car, it'll be like it never happened. Undoing what life does to your car. That's the Armor All way. Can a sport change the way we think about air quality? Can it change the way we think about performance? Or even inspire pride in American ingenuity? After more than 1 million miles of racing with homegrown ethanol, we've reduced emissions by more than 20% while stepping up horsepower. It's a game changer we're proud to make.
Let's take an inside look at what's happening in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Get unlimited access to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series through the NASCAR Sprint Cup mobile app on your Android-powered device. Learn more at sprint.com/speed. Youngest winner at Sonoma, Kyle Busch. Did it back in 2008, 21 years, 51 days. He went on that season to sweep the 2 road course events on the Sprint Cup Series schedule.
We're saying youngest winner in a Cup car because I just want to clear Kyle Busch's Cup versus Truck versus Nationwide, all that stuff.
In a Cup car at Sonoma.
And there probably have been other young winners here in Sonoma in the past. It could be younger than Kyle Busch, although Kyle Busch is phenomenal, as that we all know.
Absolutely. And just to show you how phenomenal he is, there you see, 2008 when Kyle Busch
there was sarcasm in my voice.
Lane. I sense that a little bit. But we get that a lot from you, Kyle. That's why we love you so much.
But I'm going to tell you what, when he won out here during that period of time, that was a phenomenal race. And that there is no sarcasm in that. I mean, he was on a streak that was as hot as anybody had gotten in Cup racing in a period of years.
But he's a perfect example of someone in the Sprint Cup Series that grew up on ovals, running short tracks, road course racing, the farthest thing from their thought process, and at some point you can't hide the talent.
Yeah, but I think what Kyle has man, he come across there pretty aggressive in that case he did. But I think what Kyle has that is, I'm not sure. I think you can learn it, but I think that he just has it. Was born that way. He has an incredible car control. I think we saw him at Daytona. That thing get half on the bank, half on the flat. And car control, throttle response, braking, filling that car through all of your body when you're driving is a big part of road racing. Wally was a great road racer. I mean, my man here driving for Jack, winning stuff left and right. I mean, he's a great road racer. And it's about car control and knowing where that car is and finding that balance. And I think that's where Kyle's really good. He can step over that line and still save himself and bring it back, and then he knows where he needs to be.
And boy, we've seen him do that. It's been fun to watch.
A million times.
Here's the car that won this race 1 year ago, the 22 car. But that was Kurt Busch driving. Today, it's A.J. Allmendinger, and he's 16th right now in practice, Chris.
Yeah, and he doesn't sound too happy on the radio. He's saying that the car just is not stable at all. When they previously tested at VIR, he said the car was much more stable. The platform that they have today, nothing even close to that. I spoke with him before he got in the car, and A.J. Allmendinger is not having the year he had hoped to have with Penske. He just said, you know, we've had a lot of good performance in the car, but we just can't get the results, and I'm getting really frustrated. He said he's got lots of friends and fans out there that are trying to support him. They're sending him tweets to keep his head up, telling him, hey, a tough season builds character. But he told me, I've got enough character. I need a good result.
They didn't tell me that.
They didn't tell you that?
You stink. Get out of the race car.
Get it, go.
What would you say to someone, Wally, who's struggling? Tough season builds character?
Don't ask me. I've done it yet. It does.
Brad Keselowski, one of the few drivers that finished in the top 10 both here in Sonoma and at Watkins Glen last year. And we tend to lump these two tracks together because they're both road courses. Really, though, two totally different driving styles. Am I right, Wally?
From here to where?
Watkins Glen.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you know, at Watkins Glen, you can carry the car a little bit more at Watkins Glen. In Sonoma, it's important to have a good handling race car. You've got to have a really good balance because there's a lot more to it. You know, like this right here, I mean, this is kind of similar to where you go through turn 2 at Watkins Glen when you kind of go up the hill. But there's a lot more lefts to rights, and you're just busier here, and you really need to have the car handling, especially on these transitions, because you're going left to right immediately. And if the car doesn't want to react, it doesn't want to come back, it just screws you up for the next 3 corners. So, you know, it's a place you have to have the race car feeling well.
There was a time when drivers used simulators to get themselves ready for tracks, and a lot of them would use them to get ready for road courses. You still see that a lot today as we look at the championship leader, Matt Kenseth, out on tracks?
I would say. I mean, I've got a pretty cool one at home that the kids use, and it's amazing. It is very. I mean, to the cracks on the racetrack, it really is amazing on how accurate it is. So I think, I mean, we didn't have that for sure when we were starting, but there's a lot more tools out there for younger drivers or even veterans if they've never seen a racetrack before, to learn the racetrack before you get there. So at least you know what's coming around the next corner.
We only had Atari when I was growing up.
Yeah, Pong.
Yeah, back and forth. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that got me ready for the road courses.
Pac-Man didn't go a long way.
Did I say Pong or Bong? I don't know what I said.
I think you said, never mind.
The music means it's time to go to break. Thank goodness for that.
Speed presents the greatest collector car auctions in the world. See the finest, rarest, and most incredible cars on the planet. Watch the auction live and build your dream collection. Barrett Jackson, Orange County. Today at 5 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
Engines are tuned. So are Mobil 1 motor oils. Tuned for blistering performance. Tuned for everyday extremes. And with Mobil 1 Extended Performance, tuned to keep your engine running like new for up to 15,000 miles between oil changes. Mobil 1 Extended Performance, from the motor oil brand designed to keep your engine running like new.
This is the computer ICU. It's what happens to your computer when it gets infected, slows down, and crashes. And if you don't do something, your computer could wind up here in the computer graveyard. But it could be saved with mycleanpc.com.
Is your computer running slow? Are you frustrated with error messages, blue screens, computer freezes, and crashes? Then go to mycleanpc.com for your free diagnosis today. Then just activate the mycleanpc.com software to fix it in minutes. And computer specialists are available while you're online.
The best thing about mycleanpc.com was it had a free diagnosis.
My computer is 100% faster.
You know immediately what the problem is, and the problem is solved right then and there.
Download your free diagnosis today at mycleanpc.com.
Speed's coverage of NASCAR Sprint Cup practice from Sonoma, brought to you by American Ethanol. American grown, American made, powering NASCAR. 45 minutes into the opening practice of the weekend in Sonoma, California. Martin Truex Jr. has jumped to the top of the speed charts. Jimmy Johnson, Marcus Ambrose, Greg Biffle, and Clint Boyer complete the top 5. And here's Juan Pablo Montoya. He's currently 13th. When he won here in 2007, first time he had ever been to this racetrack. That's
he
pretty
really
incredible.
locked that right front up there.
And that is incredible. But let's go back to when Juan first came in and jumped in a Cup car. There were certain places we went that he just latched onto. Atlanta was a place. He was phenomenal the first time he went to Atlanta. Seeing these racetracks for the first time was not a hindrance to him. I think seeing them time after time after time, then you fall into a lot of bad habits. But he had no habits at all. He had no preconceptions, no preconceived notion of what a Cup car did or what. And he went places angels fear the tread and could bring it back. But as he's gotten used to the car, he's fallen in like everybody else, and he's not at that place.
And sometimes, Colin, sometimes when you see a guy jump in for a race anywhere and they do really well, it's like that. It's like they're just going to do it. They don't know any better.
What made that win incredible? The fact that he started 32nd in the race. He had to drive through the field, which brings me to my next point. How important is strategy going to be here on Sunday? And when do you start working it out? You're going to pit twice? You're going to pit 3 times?
You're asking 2 drivers that?
Yeah, and Larry just left, so maybe we need to get him back in here. Probably doesn't matter where Tony Stewart starts. What's the latest on the 55, Chris?
Well, Brian Vickers going from the wine country of France to the wine country of California in less than a week. And right now, not too happy with the 55. This team has been performing so well the past few weeks, but he's making some big changes on the car right now. They're going to do springs at both ends of the car, and also they're going to tape it up and try and get a little bit more speed in a qualifying setup. I just spoke with Brian, and he said these past couple months of running around over in Europe, even though it was in a Ferrari 458, a much lighter car, less horsepower than this, all that track time that he got at Le Mans, at Spa, at I think he was at Mugello over there. He just said he's got a whole new approach to road racing, just how he thinks about the weekend, the things that he wants the car to do, the focus on braking and what he wants the car to do coming out of the corner. So he's learned a lot just the last couple months. He's hoping that that's going to pay off this weekend.
And don't forget, you're jumping into a car and working with a team that somebody else has been driving or other guys have been driving all year long. You have to have your feel in the car. Just because Mark Martin or somebody else likes something in a race car doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Maybe Mark likes a car softer than Brian or vice versa. So he's got to get back in and he's got to get these guys to do what on this race car to make him feel better and solid.
And that's what's been so impressive about this 55 team in 2012. Different drivers, similar results. They've been solid. As you see Paul Menard going into the garage area. He's in the top 10, been there most of this session, but here in turn 2, some problems.
Yeah, he carried a lot of speed in there. It looks like he just got offline just a little bit and just lost traction there.
Let's go on board with Casey Kane. That's what you look for at the start of the race and on every restart. The dust up in turn 2 to see if everybody made it through cleanly.
Well, the problem is on a restart, you really can't see that far. You're looking at the back of somebody's spoiler. It's really hard going up that corner.
I meant what we look for.
That's what we look for. Okay, yeah, I'm with you on that. When you're a driver, all you're looking at is a billboard right in front of you and hoping that you're not running into somebody or somebody's running into you.
Numbers don't look too bad for Kevin Harvick. Turned 7 laps in this session. He's currently 11th. You look at the top 10. All 4 of the Hendrick cars are inside the top 10. You got a couple of Roush cars up there, and Kenseth and Biffle. A couple of Michael Waltrip racing cars there as well. So those are some of the ones that have turned out some solid laps here in the early going of this practice session. Ryan Newman. A bit of a new paint scheme for Ryan this weekend. Quicken Loans is the sponsor, but you see on the hood, Children's Tumor Foundation raising awareness this weekend. So good to see the many teams and sponsors in the Sprint Cup Series garage giving back, and hopefully Ryan can do good on track and raise some awareness for the Children's Tumor Foundation. And Kyle, back to your point earlier about drivers that have won at every type of track, Ryan Newman's won a lot of big races, a lot of different facilities, but he's not won on a road course.
And that doesn't, again, that in the big picture of your career, that doesn't mean a lot. But I think it does to the driver. I think it does when you step back and you say, you know, everything NASCAR had to throw at me, every track they threw at me, I was able to win at least once on all those. We've got guys that are incredible on super speedways that struggle on short tracks, guys that are great short track racers that struggle other places, and they're just not right there at it. But there's only a small group, and there only ever has been. When you look at 43 guys out there, there's always just 4 or 5 who've been able to win on everything.
Here you see Jamie McMurray. Jamie, if you ever been around the track or seen McMurray on television, I mean, he's a little bitty guy. On the other side, we were talking about Newman. He looks like he should have played middle linebacker at Purdue instead of running go-karts and getting ready for his racing career. I'm curious, how physical is Sonoma on a driver? Because there is a lot of give and take inside that race car.
Yeah, these guys are, you know, they're all accustomed to this. It's not, you know, this is not a big deal for a guy like Jamie McMurray. And Jamie's a very good road racer. These guys just have not had a very good year, but Jamie knows how to get around the road course.
He was second here back in 2004. It's Martin Truex Jr. who's fastest on Fast Friday here on Speed.
Introducing the Evo 4G LTE from Sprint. Evo, a device like no other. Hear what you love with Beats Audio. Capture what you love with continuous shooting. Over 7 million people already love Evo. Now, it's your turn. The HTC Evo 4G LTE, exclusively from Sprint.
You get in the zone long before the race. And it starts every morning with Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Get your great start with Gillette Fusion Pro Glide.
And that is where babies come from.
Dad, I have a question.
You do?
Does the asymmetrical tread pattern of a tire have any effect on stopping distance?
There's a better place to ask questions about your tires. TireRack.com. Visit TireRack.com and learn about the entire Pirelli P0 and Scorpion lines of tires. Pirelli, power is nothing without control. TireRack.com. Research, buy, deliver, install.
The answer to what did you do this weekend just got a whole lot more interesting. The Can-Am Spyder Roadster. Its three-wheeled stances like nothing else on the road. Now you can take your motorcycle test on a Can-Am Spyder Roadster and be riding by the next day. See what thousands of riders already know at canam.brp.com. It's riding reinvented.
Guys Weekend. The stuff you can actually remember, you'll never forget. But for your car, it'll be like it never happened. Undoing what life does to your car. That's the Armor All way.
Sprint Cup Series in wine country this weekend, nationwide at Road America. And that's where you will also find the Rolex Sports Car Series. It'll take speed, execution, and braking power to conquer this 4-mile monster. Don't miss the Rolex Sports Car Series live from Road America. It's tomorrow, noon Eastern time, only on Speed. There's Boris Said. Talked earlier about his success when it comes to road course racing. Has not been in a Cup car in 2012. A couple of sixth-place finishes here on his resume. He also had a third at Watkins Glen. That is best ever run in a Sprint Cup car. It's about 5 years ago where Boris really got serious about trying to make the NASCAR transition and throw away that road racing moniker and become a true week-to-week competitor at NASCAR's top level, and just could never seem to get over the hump. course, right now in this session is 24th.
Yeah, six or 7 years ago, he would have been easy in the top 3.
Yes.
It just shows you the level right now of the competition in this series.
Here's Dale Earnhardt Jr. Told you off the top of the show that, of course, he was riding in a wave of momentum. Snapped that 143 race winless streak a week ago at Michigan. And as Matt Yoakum pointed out, here's a track where he's never finished inside the top 10. As you see Dave Blaney spending some time on the dirt instead of the pavement. There's a lot of people that believe, Wally, when you come to Sonoma, if you can just keep all 4 tires on the track, you're going to have a pretty good day. And that sounds silly.
That doesn't sound silly.
He did the same thing that 27 did, almost exactly. Just
smoked it in there.
It just seems like you get offline a little bit there, and it's awfully slippery.
And while you can speak to this, the ovals, you can get in the corner, the dime in the corner, you can do something. You can't do that with a road course. You have to hit the apexes, and entry.
There's one apex.
There's one apex to a corner.
Yeah, and you have to. You're right. You have to hit it, and if you're 2 feet off that apex, it screws you up big time.
Martin Truex Jr. at the top of the board right now, Matt.
And the sprinkles have come back intermittently. And when you look at the 56 team, 5th fastest in race trim, P1 in qualifying trim, a total of 7 laps. But where's your car the best on the racetrack?
It's pretty good everywhere. To be fast here, you got to be pretty good everywhere. So our Napa Toyota's been good today, both race trim and that qualifying run. It's been pretty loose, so we're trying to tighten it up still. There's still some speed left in it, but the guys did a good job. And we've had a good car here the last few years, and feel like we kind of let a few chances at maybe top 2 or 3 runs slip away, and maybe even a win. So hopefully this weekend will be our chance.
Now the one constant, except for maybe Kenseth, when you talk to drivers, they all love road course racing. When you're making that transition to Sprint Cup and road course racing, what was the biggest challenge?
Biggest challenge is just getting the horsepower. These cars are so heavy. Getting it into the corner properly and then trying to get the power down. You just spin the wheels with these things, So it's still tough. I think everybody out there is probably pretty loose today, but it's a lot of fun to drive them like that, just sliding them around the track. It's a blast.
There's one comment to crew chief Chad Johnson: if you can just tighten it up just a tick on the right-handers, we'll be right.
I think if I was going to work on anything for race day, it would be getting the power down. Even if you've got to sacrifice some horsepower, I think in the long run, if you can keep the power down, you're going to be a lot faster at the end of a run than the guys that are just flat out looking for big numbers horsepower wise.
Brian Vickers, 31st, making his first appearance in a Sprint Cup car since April at Martinsville. The other 2 MWR cars inside the top 5. We heard from Truex, who's quickest, and Clint Boyer right now 5th, almost an hour into the opening practice at Sonoma.
Thursday on Speed. The battle is on in the Bluegrass State.
Drives it in there hard. Into the wall he goes.
Live NASCAR Camping World Truck Series action from Kentucky kicks off Thursday at 5 Eastern on Speed.
Introducing a powerful weapon in your fight against bugs, Ortho Home Defense Max. With a new continuous spray wand and a fast-acting formula, so you can kill bugs inside and keep bugs out, guaranteed. Ortho Home Defense Max.
Do you remember when you could actually see shooting stars and your nightlight was a jar full of fireflies? Then keep the tradition going at Bass Pro Shop's Family Summer Camp, where kids can try our casting challenge, make a craft, and more, all for free.
Yesterday, Bradley put Peak Motor Oil into his car. And today, his car has been transformed into an example of improved engine performance and fuel efficiency, saving him money on gas. Change your motor oil to Peak for peak performance. This car is money. Change your oil, save on gas. When you peak, you win.
Five Hour Energy.
when I got to get stuff done.
On this turn, a young man realized what he would do the rest of his life. On this spot, a little girl put down her dolls and picked up a race car. On this site, a weekend endeavor was transformed into a lifelong obsession.
NASCAR home tracks, where a single moment can turn a day at the track into a lifetime at the track.
Let's take an inside look at what's happening in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Get unlimited access to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series through the NASCAR Sprint Cup mobile app on your Android-powered device. Learn more at sprint.com/speed. Most wins at Sonoma, right there. Jeff Gordon, 5 times he's gone to victory lane. He also has 5 poles here on the road course in Northern California. Speaking of poles, a few drivers going out, making practice qualifying runs, qualifying later today.
Hey, man.
And Clint Boyer, the new man on top of the board.
Yeah, how about that? Logano just slid in there in 2nd spot.
Joey Logano won the pole here last season. And won a couple of weeks ago at Pocono. Talked earlier about the wild card situation in NASCAR and what role the race this weekend could play. Certainly Joey Logano a part of that conversation. Logano, another one of those drivers that went top 10 in both road course events last year, right here at Sonoma, and of course at Watkins Glen in August.
Well, 48 looks like he's on a lap.
He smoked it off in that corner in front of Joy. You did see that. But you know, and Joy's a good example. Here's a kid, young kid, comes to a place and just likes the place, and it shows up in the finishes. They're not fantastic finishes. It's not spectacular, but they're solid top 10 finishes. You come here and hate this place, you're going to struggle. A la David Ruderman. He hated this place, and very verbal about hating it, and it showed up in the way he ran here.
Joey Logano, after making his Q run, takes it into the garage. Jimmy Johnson 7th right now in practice. We'll see if he jumps up after making another lap. And Brian Vickers jumped from outside the top 30 to inside the top 10. So all 3 Waltrip cars find themselves in the top 8 now.
Yeah, I think that last lap. Doesn't seem like he's on it right now. I think he was going after it that last lap.
And the thing at a lap like this, and Wally can explain it probably better than I can, you can have the perfect lap until you get to this final corner, and then it blow the whole lap. Or you can miss the first corner of your lap and still have a perfect lap the rest of the time, and it's a slow lap. It only takes one corner out of all they have.
Nobody's going to do it all right.
It's not one end and the other end. It's not like an oval. You can't, I got a little out of shape in 1 and 2 and it hurt my lap. No, I got a little out of shape in 2, 4, 7, and 9, and that's what killed my lap.
And you talk to anybody after a qualifying lap, and they won't tell you where they were good. They'll tell you the 1 or 2 spots that they screwed up.
Johnson is 7th right now. His teammate Dale Jr. is 13th, Matt.
And both Johnson and Jr. tested at Road Atlanta before coming out to Sonoma, and both were fast. Jr. said on the radio to Steve Letarte, "I simply cannot drive the car like this because it was way too loose on all the right-handers. He just could not use the throttle at all." But when you look at the board, he's only run 7 laps. When you look at the board, 13th. So this could be one of those weekends where he puts another check mark, because remember, at the top of the show we documented, this is one of 3 racetracks where Jr. has never scored a top 10 finish.
Thanks, Matt. And now we check out an American Ethanol Fast Fact. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has failed to score a top 10 finish. Matt just answered the Fast Fact. At Homestead, Sonoma, in Kentucky, his best Sonoma finish, 11th. He did it on 3 different occasions, including 2 years ago.
And but I go back to last year. He had a pretty good run going last year, and they all got boxed up, and he knocked the radiator out of it just about. He's had some solid runs here, and he's been pretty decent on the road courses. I said it before, and somebody said, Junior's a great road racer, and yada, 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 yada. Keep that to yourself. Junior's an okay road racer. He's one of those guys that takes it or leaves it, but he's not He doesn't have that. He doesn't appear to have that passion for it that some of these other guys have. But he is a top 5, top 10 car when we come to these places. And this is the streak he's on right now. And winning a race and coming off that last week, he's got to be pumped up to be here.
I'll tell you a driver who's better on road courses than what you would think is Carl Edwards. He's gone out and made a Q run. He's up to 5th now. Carl, of course, won the All-Star race last year, and you can watch All-Star coverage on Fox. It's Tuesday, July 10th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific. Watching Paul Menard, he had a moment up off turn 2 a while ago. He spent a good portion of this practice session inside the top 10, and right now the 27 car is 10. And Paul Menard, another driver, he's got good versatility. I mean, he's not someone that goes out and sets the world on fire at any particular track, but he's one of those guys, top 15 a lot of places we go.
He is, but you know, guys seem to come to the sport a lot more well-rounded than what they used to. Okay, you came off of a dirt short track like Bill Elliott to the asphalt tracks, and boom, next thing you know, you're at Daytona. These guys come a number of ways now.
Steve Letarte, Dale Jr. talking things over in the garage at Sonoma.
Nice car. Not so nice scratch. Wouldn't it be nice if removing ugly scratches from your car was this easy? Now with new Finish Scratch Doctor, removing surface scratches is easy. In fact, independent laboratory tests have proven Scratch Doctor to be the best scratch remover available. Scratch Doctor with advanced microtechnology also removes paint scrapes, scuffs, haze, and swirl marks. So get Scratch Doctor.
#1 rated Scratch Doctor available at O'Reilly Auto, Walgreens, Pep Boys, Target, AutoZone, Walmart, and other leading stores.
We're here to demonstrate how Vanishing Deductible from Nationwide Insurance works. Now go along. With Vanishing Deductible, you get $100 off your deductible for signing up. Good. Keep going. Then for every year of safe driving, it gets $100 smaller. How about now? A little bit more, until it could vanish completely. Dale?
Nationwide is on your side. Call 866-500-5555.
Looks like a ride home vanished too.
From when I wake up to when I go to bed, I'm working and focusing on the business.
We went from my mom's kitchen to an 8,000 square foot facility.
My name is Sharon Waddy and I'm the owner of Spa La La.
Why do millions of business owners count on Vistaprint?
We went to another printing company. Nothing was right.
Their hours are not 24 hours a day.
And finally my friend was like, you need to try Vistaprint.
At Vistaprint.com, you can make anything from business cards to banners to brochures.
They make it really simple to be able to create your own product the way you want it to look.
At Vistaprint.com, it's easy and affordable to look professional. See how easy it is with 250 premium cards, now new and improved and still only $10. Order today and get free shipping.
And my sister was like, this card is amazing. You actually look like a professional company now.
250 cards, $10, free shipping. Vistaprint.com.
They make me look really professional.
It was a long 4 years for Dale Earnhardt Jr., but he's back on top. Sunday on race day, we look back at his breakthrough win, and Steve Letarte tells us how Jr. became Hendrick's hottest driver. Don't miss NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco. It's Sunday, noon Eastern Time, right here on Speed. There you see Kyle Busch was 29th in this practice session, went out, made a Q run. The 18 car now third on the speed charts, behind only Clint Boyer and Joey Logano. In fact, the top 4 cars, if you put Truex in there, all Toyotas. Then you got the 3 Fords of Ambrose, Edwards, and Biffle, and it's Jeff Burton who's jumped to 8th, Jimmy Johnson and Ryan Newman, and 3 Chevys that round out the top 10.
And then got Ficker sitting at 11th, so whatever changes they made to that car, obviously he liked a lot better. Because he was sitting down around 29th or something when we did that report on him.
And he had jumped actually up to 8th, I think, before some of these other guys had gone out and made their qualifying runs. One driver we haven't talked a lot about is Tony Stewart. Right now he's 27th, and I got to believe they've turned 15 laps working on race trim. They take things up, make a Q run. He'll probably jump up on the speed chart as well. And what's interesting about Tony, as we continue to watch Martin Truex Jr. go around track, is Steve Addington is his crew chief. Steve won this race last year with Kurt Busch, and he was a part of that suite that Kyle Busch had in 2008. when he won both road course races. What's the word on Jeff Gordon, Chris?
Well, Jeff Gordon's won here 5 times over the years, and Jeff right now 12th quick on the chart. How's the car working?
Car's really good. I feel like we've made some gains from last year to this year, and starting the weekend off right. We just been making a couple of short race runs, get prepared for tomorrow's practice and for the race, obviously, on Sunday with our drive-in Hunger Chevrolet. But we're going to switch over to qualifying trim now. We're a little bit of a rush because I think one of our adjustments took a little bit longer than we hoped. So, hopefully we get 2 runs in, but more than likely we'll at least get 1 in.
It'll be interesting to see how much further he pops up that chart as soon as they get the qualifying set up on the 24.
Jeff Gordon 13th right now, Chris. And while you were giving your report, A.J. Allmendinger jumped inside the top 5. He's now 5th. The only Dodge inside the top 10. Boris said looks like he's letting it hang out. Maybe a Q run for him.
15th right now on the chart. See if he jumps up on this lap. Nope, stays the same.
Told you about A.J. Allmendinger, driver that needs something good to happen. Perhaps he's laying the foundation. He's now in the top 5 here in practice. A year ago, this team went to victory lane playing a 2-stop strategy, that with Kurt Busch driving the car. In fact, 3 of the last 5 races here at Sonoma won by a driver and team that made it on only 2 stops. And 2 of those, the man in charge of strategy, Steve Addington. Kyle Busch in 2008, and a year ago with older brother Kurt. Montoya did the same when he went to victory lane in 2007. Carl Edwards, 3rd here 1 year ago. How about this? 8 top 10s for Carl in 14 road course races. Would you have ever thought that from Carl?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just like we were talking about Joyce, some guys just latch onto it. Carl didn't have that in his background, I don't think, or have a lot of it anyhow, of road racing in his background. But he went to a team that had a solid background in road racing, which obviously sped up his learning curve a little bit.
And Carl's just a great student of the game. He will go out and do anything that he needs to get better. And if memory serves me right, he spent a lot of time with Max Pappas and Boris said, honing his skills when it comes to road racing.
I mean, these guys aren't afraid to get help from guys like that, or go to a Bondurant driving school or something like that, because you're just going to learn stuff. Even if you go through it and pick up one thing that will help you, it's worth it.
Now, you had a nice road racing background, Wally. You were good at it. Young driver comes to you in the garage, says, Wally, let me ask you a question. You help him out, or is it hard to help a fellow competitor?
Well, I think it was different when Kyle and I were doing it. With me anyway, I think they would tell you just enough, but they wouldn't really help you.
Yeah, they wouldn't really help you.
Let me just go out there and get on a limb. They wouldn't help you. They'd probably tell you the opposite. I think it's different now, where I think guys are helping out each other a little bit more. You're not going to tell somebody everything, but I think because it's so competitive, you don't want to get a guy too far out, because you may be racing with them into that corner, and I've told some guys some things too that didn't work out all that well for them when it came race time.
Another driver you might want to tap on the shoulder when it comes to road course racing, Chris, is Marcus Ambrose. He's 6th right now.
Yeah, Marcus Ambrose, one of the favorites this weekend, and he's got a fast car right now. He's been telling the team that he's got good forward bite, and the roll control, that body roll back and forth through the S's feels pretty good, but he said it just doesn't have a lot of grip up through the S's, so he's kind of skating back and forth as he's transitioning right to left. And Marcus Ambrose running for a big bonus this weekend. If he can get the win, Stanley Tools is going to donate $1 million to the Children's Miracle Network hospitals, and we can see on Marcus's car, he's got a lot of kids riding with him this weekend. He's got names of these patients all over the car, so I think he's going to have a lot of young fans cheering for him this weekend. Hopefully get that win and get that $1 million bonus.
Well, he's certainly capable of doing it, and those names representing a patient in every state, And also Washington, D.C.
And it's one thing I haven't ever heard, and you probably never will. You know, when you're looking for something in your race car at Sonoma, you're not going to get the car right everywhere. You are constantly going to be looking to make the car better. You're never going to make it perfect around this place. I think he's already way ahead of the game. If he's got forward bite and the car's not body rolling, he's probably ahead of most of the guys out there right now.
That's Tommy Dreese, who's off track. Trans Am champion, handful of years ago. Trying to make it this weekend in the Sprint Cup Series, driving for Tommy Baldwin.
It's strange where that front locked up where it did.
Yeah, and you don't see a lot of people spin.
Oh, he was already losing it.
Yeah, he turned
That's
in.
a different angle there, yeah.
Dreese in the 10 car this week. Last week it was Tony Raines. David Rudeman going to be back in the 10 car next week for Tommy Baldwin at Kentucky. You know why Ice Age is on this car? Tommy makes the cardboard cutouts that you see at the movie theaters. How about that? That's his business.
Why don't we get a cardboard cutout of Adam Alexander 1 week in the booth and just enjoy ourselves up here, Wally?
I'm all for
That
that.
hurts. That hurts. I'll sign it for
Why
you,
go
Kyle.
with the cardboard cutout at all, though?
It'd be like a flat Adam. Let's get a flat Adam.
We'll change this tie after every commercial.
After every commercial.
That's not good either.
Yeah, I saw Stephen Light had problems earlier in practice and now smoking the 31 of Jeff Burton, who was 10th quick in this session. Clint Boyer on top. The opening practice of the weekend as we wind it down. Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., and A.J. Allmendinger, the top 5.
Speed presents the greatest collector car auctions in the world. See the finest, rarest, and most incredible cars on the planet. Watch the auction live and build your dream collection. Barrett-Jackson, Orange County. Today at 5 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
You can spend a fortnight at Wimbledon, or you can spend it the DirecTV way, with 6 dedicated channels so you can watch every match of the tournament. It's Wimbledon like never before, and it's only on DirecTV.
Pizza Hut believes you deserve better than a boring sub. Say hello to the Pozzolo and meet Trio Italian steak or buffalo chicken. Get 1 for $3 or 2 for $5. Pizza Hut, make it great.
Neighbors! We shouldn't need a GPS to find the fertilizer. We should go to Ace, where we can zip in, find what we need, and zip out.
Our speedy-sized stores help get your weekend back at Ace.
Introducing a powerful weapon in your fight against bugs, Ortho Home Defense Max. With a new continuous spray wand and a fast-acting formula, so you can kill bugs inside and keep bugs out, guaranteed. Ortho Home Defense Max.
Hello and welcome to the Speed Center. I'm Rick Allen. Let's get you up to speed. Formula One in Spain for the European Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel led the way with the fastest speed of the day. That was in practice 2. World Rally in New Zealand. After day 1, it's Sebastian Loeb leading his teammate Mikko Hirvonen by 4 seconds. IndyCar on the short track of Iowa Speedway. Last year's winner Marco Andretti led the first practice session. Robin Miller joins us later. Coming up on Speed Center, Bob Dillner's out in wine country, giving us his take on who has a shot at the pole and the weekend ahead. Plus, talking about last week's winner, Dale Earnhardt Jr. never gets old. And Speed's coverage of Barrett-Jackson from Orange County gets underway at 5 Eastern. Plenty of muscle cars from the 60s to go around. Sell, sell, sell! That's what they do. First Speed Center, next at 4:30. We'll see you then.
It's Fast Friday on Speed. Good to have you with us live from Sonoma, California. Sprint Cup teams on track, getting set for Sunday's running of the Toyota Mart 350. And when they go green, there is the man that will lead the championship. Matt Kenseth, a 4-point advantage over Dale Earnhardt Jr. as we get set for the 16th race of the year. Matt Kenseth, 26th in this session. Newman, who was outside the top 10 a moment ago when we went to our commercial, has jumped up inside the top 10. The 39 car now 4th in this practice. And there you see Newman on track, cooling things down. That's Paul Menard coming behind him. Menard, who had been in the top 10 quite a bit, is now 12th. We'll see if he's making a Q run and if he jumps inside the top 10. Wrapping up this practice session, and team's doing exactly what you would expect. Go out, make some race runs, get comfortable, both driver, crew chief, and team with a setup, and then see what you got in regard to qualifying trim. Qualifying going to be later today here in Sonoma.
And you know, we bring it up every week. Larry beats it to death. We beat it to death. But really, qualifying on a road course is a big deal.
I was just going to say it.
Because it is, you can't pass. You know what I mean? I mean, there are a few places. You've got to count on that guy in front of you making a mistake and opening that door for you to get by until we get to those last 10 or 15 laps when all aggression is all out all the time. But early in the race, you want to get out front and have that clean racetrack when you get to the top of the hill. You don't want everybody slamming on brakes in turn 2 up there and backing you up, and you're tearing the hood off of it, tearing the radiator, like we talked about Dale Jr. last year. Got caught in a situation like that.
Well, that's one of the reasons Jeff Gordon has been so good here at Sonoma. He qualifies up front, 5 poles, leads all drivers, and he told Chris Neville in the garage just a few minutes ago, we're going to go out, get at least 1 Q run, maybe 2 if we have time, and I would say this is the first opportunity to go out and see what the car's got in qualifying trim, Wally.
Yeah, it looks like he's on one right here. We get, he really locks that right front up, and that's the second time this lap he's locked up the right front tire, which is not good. Here's the first time he locked it up, and that's a long time to be locking up the right front. That's when you start flat spotting the tire. And it's just a brake adjustment. I mean, he's just got to dial a little bit more to the back.
19th is where he is right now as he comes through turn 11.
And he locks it up again, and when you lock up the front tire, it quits turning. So that's why the car slid out to the left like that. So that's really hurting him on his laps.
And there he is at the start-finish line. Jeff Gordon jumps up to 9th on the speed charts.
Tight in the corner.
It's tight in the corner because you're locking it up. And then that's something too. Sometimes it's hard to feel when you're on new tires with the tire locking it up. But
when you're making your qualifying run, Wally, how important is turn 11 to set up the start of your qualifying
very
run?
Important. I mean, you've really got to get off the corner there, and you'll see guys blow it coming to the green, and of course it hurts.
So the top 5 right now in the session, 4 of them Toyotas. Boyer, Logano, Kyle Busch, Newman, and Truex, the top 5. Then you got Jimmy Johnson, Allmendinger, Ambrose, Jeff Gordon, we just told you, jumped to 9th, and Carl Edwards is 10th right now as we close on the end of this practice session. And those are the drivers that will be the last to go out in qualifying, because it is this practice session that sets the qualifying order later today. They will go slowest to fastest. Denny Hamlin on a Q run. He jumped to 9th, pushing Jeff Gordon to 10th. Eric Almirola, little hang time off the corner. Clint Boyer fastest in Sonoma.
Get ready for a whole new breed of speed, Kentucky. NASCAR's very best are back for a take-no-prisoners, winner-take-all Southern Brawl.
Race fans, this is big. This is really big. But from the driver's seat, the view isn't always pretty. Welcome back to Kentucky, race fans, and get ready for a big-time Southern Jam starring Chris Young.
Grab your coolers and grab your friends because the race is on. The Quaker State 400, June 30th. 859-578-2300.
You want to save money on car insurance? No problem. You want to save money on RV insurance? No problem. You want to save money on motorcycle insurance? No problem. You want to find a place to park all these things? Forget about it. This is New York.
Hey, little guy, wake up!
Oh, calm off it, Mike.
Geico. Saving people money on more than just car insurance.
AC not cold enough? Bring back the cool with AC Pro in under 10 minutes. Simply unscrew the service cap, connect, squeeze the trigger, check the gauge. Get new do-it-yourself AC Pro, the 10-minute cold air solution.
You get in the zone long before the race. And it starts every morning with Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Get your great start with Gillette Fusion Pro Glide.
It doesn't matter how much paint is traded or how many fenders get bent along the way. Because what happens on the track isn't the only thing that makes this a contact sport. NASCAR, everything else is just a game.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Speed's presentation of NASCAR Sprint Cup practice from Sonoma brought to you by #1 rated Scratch Doctor. Keep your car looking great with Scratch Doctor. A new man sits atop the speed charts in Sonoma. That would be Martin Truex Jr. He jumped in front of his teammate Clint Boyer. There you see Marcus Ambrose going back to the garage area. One of the great road racers in Sprint Cup competition is 6th, and right behind him, the man who won here a year ago, Kurt Busch, who made a Q run. He is now 7th, and Martin Truex Jr. down through the S's after he went back out, made a late rally, and went to the top of the board. David Gilliland now out in Q trim. Has jumped up to 7th.
Just had a visit from Flat Adam up in the booth here.
We do have a Flat Adam in the booth.
Yes, we do.
It's a look we're very familiar with.
You guys are
it's a blank
flat,
look. It's
flat
a blank
hilarious.
That was a good run by Truex. I don't think a lot of people expected that. He's not a guy that pops into your head when you come here to say this is going to be a guy that's in the top 5 or 6. But I'm going to tell you, we talk about it week in and week out, whether it's here on Speed, doing the speed stuff, or whether it's on TNT. Michael Waltrip Racing has made huge gains and huge strides this year.
Yeah, well, they're 1-2 right now in this practice session, and the only guy missing inside the top 10 is Brian Vickers. And I think we all know that Brian's not been in a Cup car in a while. Takes some time to get reacquainted.
Yeah, but he had 24 hours of practice last week. I mean,
Yes,
my
he
God,
did.
he got a head start on everybody.
Top 10 in class at the 24-hour Le Mans. A couple of minutes left in practice. There are 44 cars here this weekend. One will go home in our qualifying session later today. The quickest of the go-or-go-homers right now, Scott Speed, who is 19th overall. Then you got Robbie Gordon, David Mayhew looking to make his Sprint Cup Series debut, 33rd and 34th. The slowest of that bunch, Stephen Light, who went out 4 laps into this session and blew an engine. So you get this 90 minutes of practice here, qualify later this afternoon, and then tomorrow 2 practice sessions for Sprint Cup teams to get all dialed up for Sunday afternoon's Toyota Save Mart 350.
And you can tell that Harvick is on a run.
Yes.
You just watch these cars and how aggressive these guys are driving them right now. You can tell that they're trying to get a lap out of it.
Harvick 14th, and we'll see what kind of jump he makes here. Stayed the same in the 14th position.
He was thrashing that thing.
Yeah.
He was thrashing that thing up there. And, you know, they'll make these mock runs and they'll go back. And there may be, you know, he may say, I'm really good with this setup through the top of the racetrack, but I'm not as good through the S's, through the bottom part of the racetrack.
I got a little wide off the top of the hill and 3.
And you hear,
or you make a mistake.
Or you make a mistake. And you heard him say, I got a little wide. I made a mistake.
But at least you know where you lost it.
Yeah. There's Junior at the top of the hill. We talk about the top of the hill, turning in right. Junior had already said, I'm loose to the right. They were working on that. We heard a report earlier that they were a little bit free getting in the corners. And there, he did basically the same thing that we saw Menard doing a couple of those other guys.
laughing.
Rankin at the start-finish line. Turn it to the left and it just come all around. I had to slow down somehow.
Practice is complete. Dale Earnhardt Jr. going to make his way back to the Sprint Cup Series garage. 16th is where he will finish up the opening practice. One of the big surprises inside the top 10, a late run made by David Gilliland to put him up into the 7th position. It's Martin Truex Jr. who leads the way. Clint Boyer, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Ryan Newman, the top 5 in practice 1. A.J. Allmendinger in the Dodge was 10th. Sprint Cup Series qualifying later today. Right now we're going to send it to the Speed Center. And Rick Allen for Kyle Petty, Wally Dallenbach. I'm Adam Alexander. We'll see you later on.